I don't think a Pro Bowl appearance should be on a resume. I don't. I don't think it means anything. Dolan says the tape doesn't lie. Hopefully someone will put together a Lavonte David compilation tape with the disclaimer that he was on some pretty bad football teams. He was on some pretty bad defenses for the first half of his career. In the Super Bowl, Kelsey had 23 yards and 5 targets when Lavonte was directly matched up in coverage. Lavonte is one of the best ever, in my humble opinion. That's from Robert in Brooksville. One more text on this. If Bobby Wagner gets in, Lavonte will have to be in. Lavonte was on one of the worst defenses, and Bobby played with the Legion of Boom. All good points. Let's go to Ben in West Chase. What's up, Ben? You're on the Nick Wize Show. How are you?
Good, good. How you guys doing today?
We are just talking Lavonte David.
Yep. Well, it's one thing I did want to point out. It wasn't a matter of him falling to us in the draft. We wanted him, and we traded up to get him. So we knew we wanted him, and then, a quick little short story for you. One of my best friends, David, when we drafted him, immediately said, I've always wanted to have a player on my team whose last name on the back of the jersey is my first name. So everywhere he went, he got that Lavonte David jersey immediately. Fast forward to the first game of that season of his rookie year. We're walking up Himes towards Del Mabry after we parked to go to the game. He's wearing his jersey, and we see maybe 15 to 20 number 54 jerseys at the corner of the intersection. He's getting all hyped up. He's excited. We get over there, and we start realizing when we're looking at everyone, it was Lavonte David's entire family that came up from Miami to see him play in his first game. So got to talking to them a little bit, and, mind you, this was 14 years ago. His daughter wasn't born. He was a lot younger, so they were more his cousins and friends and family from down there. But it was, if there was any type of divine, moment where you knew that was the right pick, it was at that moment. We're standing there at the intersection with 20 fans, not just fans, but family members of him for his first game. And it was awesome to see and be a part of. And looking back now, that was one of the cooler moments I've, got to experience as a Lavonte David fan.
Now, Ben, was that first game, was that against the Jets?
I'm not sure if it was the season opener or our home opener, but I believe it was against the Panthers, if I remember correctly.
Okay, yeah, because I think the first game of the season, maybe they were on the road when they played New York, and everybody was all up in arms because I believe he had a late hit, caused a penalty, and they lost the game, and people were not happy with Lavonte after day number 1. But I appreciate you calling in with that story, Ben. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Talking about Lavonte David, whether or not he's a Hall of Famer, I gave you all the reasons to why I think he is. Yesterday, Lavonte David at his press conference was asked about the possibility of getting into the Hall of Fame, and here's what he had to say.
I don't know how the Hall of Fame work or anything like that, but I know the process would be, probably long. I know a lot of accolades that comes into, deciding, what you do to get into the Hall of Fame and stuff like that. But, I've never been the one to brag and boast, but, I let all my player stuff do the talking. And, to add to that, my numbers do the talking. So when I'm out on the field, I make an impact any way I can. And I hope, someday they do decide to vote me in. They can see that. But it's something that it was never nothing that I strive for. Like I said, man, I generally love the game of football, and, whatever comes with it just came with it. But if that's a part of it, I definitely would take a step to smiling.
We're talking about how he only went to one Pro Bowl, which is so crazy. It looks like in the older days, Hall of Famers from some coaches and players had 0 Pro Bowl appearances. But for modern era players, for one Pro Bowl, it's the lowest. John Riggins, Ray Nitschke, 2 guys that only had 1. So out of all of the players in the Hall of Fame, there are 2 players with only 1 Pro Bowl appearance in the Hall of Fame, according to what I just pulled up real quick. So it'll be interesting to see if that does hold him back. I'm looking at all the Pro Bowls now. Yeah, it looks like everybody's got multiple Pro Bowls when you look at the resumes in Canton. There are not many with just 1, especially in the modern day era. It really shouldn't hold him back. I'm afraid it might. These voters are weird. They do dumb things. There's an award voter for the Tampa Bay Lightning, well, an NHL award voter that's not going to vote for Nikita Kucherov for the Hart. His reason is stupid. We'll get into that just after 1 o'clock today. Some of the, Bill Belichick wasn't a first ballot Hall of Famer. Like, sometimes the people making these decisions don't always make the right decisions. But Lavonte is absolutely a Hall of Famer in my opinion.